Are you ready? Okay, let's do this. Why does your gaming world require a villain? Why? Your players will play out your game's running script based on their interactions with your villains, big or small. It's the game. Players have to run on villainous motivation like gasoline or electricity if you run on electric. But how do you structure a motivation? What does that even look like? I'm going to tell you in 20 words or less. Ready? On the one side, your villain wants it, really wants it. Other side, your villain can't have it. That's it, your motivation. Done. Keep in mind, game rules are designed that any monstrous enemy must die in 3 combat rounds. What is that? 10 seconds? 15? Player characters are literally designed to wreck any and all of your toys. Quickly. Attachment to these imaginary friends leads to heartbreak every time. Don't do it. Use these 3 dimensions, but don't write a book. 3 dimensions. We shall call them Savvy, Grit, and Proxy. Let's do dimensions of dastardliness, shall we? Dastardliness. Savvy! The combination between smarts, intelligentsia, book study, and consideration mulling. It helps if they can speak a language in common, but not vital. Notice, Savvy gets set apart from obstacles like weather fronts or logistical conundrums. These elements are important for game, sure, but they're not villains. Grit. This is more determination, reliability, tenacity, unstoppability. Gritty villains get something done. They can quit smoking or do their job or keep trying in the face of adversity, whatever. They get stuff done while players are not around. For your game, you may also include how your villain survives when your players are around. For Proxy, this is where you apply any and all of those aforementioned tools from Grit and Savvy. Money, contacts, tools, support, networks, resources, you get the idea. In-game, most combat kills key villains in seconds, so ends your adventure. Thus, you need lots of villainous outreach, HR, PR, and other such facilities. Players must encounter the projects, plans, and events, including nasty minions, traps, other things before they manage to slaughter your main character. Alright, for examples how this works in your game. Savvy. Consider Roper called Ruckus. Really a stalagmite with many voluntary long tentacle ropes, hence the name. It sits around and contemplates in the dark like any stone might. Although as dumb as a rock, because it's mostly made of rock, it's very wise. Like 7 intelligence, but 16 wisdom wise. He lives in the Underdark, happening to be next to a trade war conduit for multiple undery, darkery races. Not going to go on about which races nor geopolitical economics are hereby. That gets into Proxy, which is discussed later on. Please consider how this somewhat stupid monster has great savvy characteristics. Given Ruckus the Roper this manipulative know-how to pull political strings. Pulling strings means players may go on many adventures without ever figuring out who has been causing all the ruckus, assuming Ruckus can really learn the ropes. Grit. For a monster with grit, check out Cassius the Clay Golem, literally made of grit. Yeah, these jokes. He is a tall statue made of soft clay, just as the name would suggest. How exactly does this clay stay supple and soft over centuries? That's not important right now. Long story short, his master is long dead. All he has left are a bunch of large gold chains. On each link is a magic mouth spell. These instructions are passed down from his long dead master through these link mouth chain things. My point here is that this statue thing has a lot of persistence. You see, this golem can't give up like a group of cowardly goblins, nor abandon their pursuit like a zombie or 3 might. Brief list of persistent monsters you might consider: Genius Flame Skull, only dies from holy water, awakened shambling mound. It leaves regrowing roots deep in the ground when it fights. Leaves regrowing roots. Mummy Lord, with a heart in a jar, goes away permanently if you burn. Heartburn. As interesting as these reoccurring villains might be, remember these aren't truly gritty. They only become gritty if they have some goal, motivation, plan, plotting that you, the DM, put into place. Otherwise, they're just reoccurring. Somehow Palpatine returned. Proxy. For Proxy, picture a crushingly hot bard. That half-elf maestro with a way too much charisma. Needing no further introduction, I give you Wendy Y. Willoway, a weir-rat extraordinaire. Her powerful proxy power. Did you know that rats gestate in just 3 weeks? And each litter yields 12 to 20 pups. It's a lot of kids. She does this bard seduction thing and then prints off these super charismatic children. Note that Proxy may include minimal defense. Wendy Y. Willoway, NPC bard, has 44 hit points and is found on stage pretty much every night. Once her secret is out, she's easily slain with 1 score of silver-tipped arrows. Please don't. She's so adorable and only wants you to click her like button or subscribe if you must. Do it now. But these kids, let me tell you, charming, direct, close relatives of all the most powerful people. They have the means to train out as bards, warlocks, paladins, and sorcereresses. I believe these children are the future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Truth is, I give you this word of warning. If you extend too much of these 3 dimensions, it means a party wipe pretty much every time. Let me explain why. Let's look at it. Say, for example, you would like to put a dragon in your dungeon. Dungeon with a dragon. Well, for dragon savvy, they are born with a priori adult intelligence, and it grows to be genius level with centuries of time to read up stuff in libraries and spellbooks. I mean, this gets into grit, I get it, but with sentient magic items, that gets into Proxy, but you get the idea. Sages of the ages, name of a rock band, whatever, they've got it. For grit, at kindergarten, age 6, they have CR of 6. With spells, thousands of years to plan or train. Remember the Roman Empire, or Jesus, or Socrates? They do. The size of 1 to 16 semi-tractor trailer trucks. Constant energy source. Their breath weapon, every few seconds. It's a lot of power. For Proxy, drakes are the literal keepers of vast hordes. Granted, it's hard for them to go into the marketplace, but they make ancient deals with hags, royal dynasties, archmages, anyone of power. And their standing army includes kobolds, like Tucker's kobolds. Heard of Tucker's kobolds? Link below. Any monster, no matter how small, with enough smarts, strong will, and money connections, and your game transforms. Imagine a goblin wizard with fabricate spell on file, and say 3 trades under her belt? Kiss your economic system goodbye. Up next, why you want 3, not 1, 3 of these key villain faction things to create the ultimate choice sandbox environment. Oh, you will, trust me, or my name isn't Tim Jim Grimm. Thanks and goodbye.